Good evening, everyone. Okay, got it. Share. Let me see. Let me go ahead and I think I'm just gonna, yeah, sorry. All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today at the seminar called More Than Finances, Planning for Your Future. My name is Jamila Anderson, and I will be the presenter tonight. Let me tell a little bit about my family and my background before we dive into the topic. I'm a mom of two beautiful boys, and I have an amazing, supportive husband. We lived in Manhattan, Kansas for 10 years before we moved to Kansas City area last year and bought our first home. While working full-time jobs, both myself and my husband realized that we didn't have much time to spend with the kids, to do, many activities with them or create memories as a family. So we decided that I will quit my full-time job at the military post and do more things with the kids and maybe get a part-time job. So right after I quit my job in February, my husband had a knee surgery, which unfortunately had complications and left him in excruciating pain for about a month. And since we had the bills and had the mortgage to pay, he had to continue going to work in horrible, horrible pain. I think he went to ER like 3 times during that month. And that's when it really got me thinking, and I realized that most of us in the United States can only make money while we're physically going to work, right? Most of us cannot even, relax and get better and stay home without being stressed. And so during that time, one of my friends, who is also here tonight, invited me to one of these Zoom meetings, introduced me to this platform. So I did join the platform. I got my license, and I became a licensed financial professional myself, which now lets me have flexibility, right, to do the job anytime that I have, to do the job from anywhere I would like, and to make extra money. So I've lived in the United States for about 11 years, 7 of which I spent getting my master's degree, and then I worked on my PhD. For the same reason, right, that the more time you spend in college, the more money you're going to make. That a lot of us believe in that, correct? However, not many of us are, so I was trying to say is many of us are told, right, to go to school, to get a degree, to get an 8 to 5 job, and you will be set. However, not many of us are educated on finances. So this is what we call the fingers of life, and 5 fingers of life. And in general, right, there are like 5 general career options or fields of studies, which are science, engineering, medicine, politics, or money. However, what I've noticed is no matter what field you get a degree in, you always end up working for those who have the money. As Warren Buffett said, those who have formal education work for those who have financial education. How do you feel about that?
I think that's absolutely true.
Yes, I mean, that's what we see in general in a society, right? So, I mean, all over the world, I would say. Uh, yes, I mean, yeah. So, and that's what we see the most. And like I said, many of us are not necessarily educated on money. And with lack of knowledge in how finances work, how to, plan for your future, for your retirement, I also felt behind. But since I joined this platform and my knowledge of, I would say, financial vehicles, financial strategies increased, I was able to put things in plan for my own future, my husband, for retirement, and for the future of my children. And I would love to help others to do the same, to set for the future, to plan for retirement, to be able to help our children, right, to get education and plan for a better future. And so I'm hoping that this meeting will increase kind of our general literacy in finances and be able to plan for your retirement as well. So in order to better understand this topic, let's use the basic banking concept. It is a common knowledge, right, that most of us put our money in some sort of financial institution, which we call a bank. Correct? Does anyone here put their money somewhere else? So we all use bank. I mean, for transactions, to save. When we put our money in a bank, do we know how much interest rate are we paid?
Very little.
So actually, absolutely. Actually, it's like 0.1%, which is pretty much nothing, right? So once we put our money in a bank, do we know what they do with it? Anyone? So actually, right, banks invest our money in the third party. And they make 10% off of our money. So what's happening here is, right, they're paying us 0.1%, but they're making 10%. Pretty much they're making 100 times of what we put in a bank. So for example, I mean, what I mean by like a third party, for example, if we get a mortgage, right, we pay right now, I think interest rates are in 6 to 7%, right? Or if we apply for a credit card, we are charged at least 10%, but I think a lot of the time it goes to like 19, 20%. So like, again, they pay us 0.1%, but they charge us at least 10%. So what's happening here is that banks leverage our money. However, did you know that you can legally bypass the banks and invest your money directly in those third parties? And this is, by the way, are the third party companies that I was talking about. Is anyone familiar with any of these?
Yeah.
Is
Which ones?
Voya an insurance company?
Sorry?
Is Voya an insurance company?
It is.
Okay, I've heard of that one.
Okay, yeah. I mean, one of the most popular, I think, Transamerica, Pacific Life. A while back, before, I mean, I joined myself, I only knew about Gerber because I had children, right? Yeah, so, yeah. So, and like I said, you can actually legally bypass the bank and invest your money directly in these third-party companies and make your hard-earned money work for you instead of the bank by making you the 10% instead of making the 10% for the bank.
How do we go about that? Do we call them and apply, or how do we go?
That's a great question. That's a great question. And we can definitely, if you don't mind, we can definitely leave it to the end of the presentation. And then so we can address more questions, but definitely keep that in mind. Thank you. All right. So yeah, this is just kind of bigger showing the companies. And there are actually about, I think, more than 70 providers. We call these companies providers, and they're all A-list providers that we work with. So let's compare 5 different financial accounts to understand this a little bit more. All right. So whichever account that we want to have or open, we want to have as many benefits as possible. So these are on the left side, 8 out of those benefits. Of course, first of all, like, I mean, who doesn't want tax-free distribution, right? We want tax-free distribution. Second one, growth potential. So we would like our money to grow, right? If we're keeping it in any of these accounts, we would like market protection if something happens in the market going up and down. If emergency happens or any good reason, we would like to be able to access our money anytime. Principal protection, right? Insurance, so we want our money protected. Of course, it's important to have some kind of income replacement if terminal critical illness happens. Being able to leave some kind of financial legacy for our children, right? Wealth transfer, and of course, probate avoidance. Oh, sorry. So I guess before I go that way, I just kind of wanted to ask, I know, like I said, all of these benefits are important. However, if you get to choose the top 3, what would those 3 would be? Please share your answers. And excuse me.
Easy access.
Sorry?
Easy access.
Absolutely. Yes, easy access. What is your number 2?
I think mine would be tax advantage.
Tax advantage. Jen?
Mine would be principal protection.
Okay, principal protection. What else? All right. Yeah, absolutely. So let's kind of look at this account and see what kind of benefits they offer. So let's look at the bank, right? The most common one that we all utilize. So if you look at all of these benefits, it only gives us these 3 benefits. No risk of loss, which is market protection, which again, you think you get no risk of loss, similar to principal protection, right? But there's only until certain amount. I mean, I know we've had it before, and I think the market is kind of vulnerable right now as well, where we've seen some banks close down, file bankruptcy, right? And a lot of people's only up to, I think protection is guaranteed only up to 250,000. So people who had more than that pretty much lost that money. Another one is 401k or IRA. So a lot of us who usually work for certain company or government, right? We have some sort of 401k, IRA. So if you look at it, it only gives us one benefit, right? Growth potential. So you get no tax-free distribution, there's no protection, there's no income replacement if you get chronic illness or anything like that. All right. And then brokerage account or stocks. So I know not many people, but there's still some who have brokerage accounts who deal with stocks. If you look at it, it only gives us these 2 benefits, right? Growth potential and ease of access. However, there is no risk of loss or no principal protection, no tax-free distribution. I mean, forget about the rest, which again, right, in vulnerable markets like right now would be one of the most benefits that you want to have. So if you don't mind me asking, which account out of these 3 do you have, Maricruz or Yelena?
I have easy access, but that's just to the bank, yeah.
Okay. No, I mean, like, do you have 401k? Do you have?
Yeah, no 401k.
Don't. Okay.
So
What
just
about you, Yelena?
I have 403B through work.
Okay. Did you know about all these benefits? How does that make you feel, knowing that you pretty much get like one?
I started thinking, why do we even need that?
Absolutely. Good question. All right. So there are actually 2 more accounts that I wanted to share with you. That is a fixed index annuity, or what we call a private pension, and family bank, or we call it index universal life. So let's look what benefits are offered by fixed index annuity. So you can see that this one already offers a lot more benefits than the other accounts. which with fixed index annuity, you get growth potential, right? You can see that you get no risk of loss, definitely principal protection, being able to transfer wealth, right? Leaving some financial legacy, and of course, probate avoidance. And the last one is the IUL or Index Universal Life. As you can see, it offers all of the 8 benefits that we've been talking about. So looking at it, right, then you kind of, I mean, don't you ask yourself a question like, why did we not know about it?
Sure.
Sure.
Does anyone have any guesses?
Too good to be true?
No, actually. Right. So, I mean, one,
No one's ever taught us this, so I don't know.
yeah, one of the reasons actually that not many of us know about these accounts is that not many of us actually go to a licensed financial professional. Not a lot of the time, we don't actually, go to financial professionals, sit down and talk about these things a lot of the time. And actually only like 5% of the population utilize these services of the licensed financial professional. Being able to know a little bit more about your options. Another one, right? If everybody, like for the banks, banks are everywhere. Banks, I mean, for them, it's not beneficial for us to be able to actually avoid and go directly to these third-party companies. And so, as I mentioned earlier, right, it is always really good to know your options, right? When you're not able to work, you're not able to bring the money in, or facing some kind of chronic critical illness, it is like, do you have a plan in place, right, to be able to to bring in that money? Do you have a protection of your income, your estate? What we see most often is for a lot of the families, we usually have a one provider. So let's say it's the husband, right? And so what happens if that husband gets sick, right? People end up filing bankruptcy, losing their home. And so we see that a lot. And so it's important, right, to have some kind of protection for that as well. Do you want to retire by default or you want to retire by design? Meaning that, would you like to plan for your retirement, right? And not having to worry about working till later age, being able to enjoy your retirement, travel, do things. And of course, us as parents, right, we would like to help out our children to get education, to be set for a better financial future than even us. And so, or being able to leave financial legacy and, create generational wealth and not generational poverty. And of course, ability to make extra money, bring in that extra income, a lot of the time from the convenience of your home. So when I share this information with people, we always see 4 types of people, right? Or 4 categories of people, I would say. The first category are the people who say, hey, I love my bank, and I want my bank to keep all my money and the interest. So I'm good, with how banks work. And that's totally fine, right? It's an individual choice. A second group of people that we see, they say, hey, I only want the 10%, right? Who become our clients. The third category of people say, I like the 10%. I also like to split your portion, but I do not want to do what you do. So we call them silent business partners. So these are the people who can refer us to those who can become clients. And then a fourth category, right, like myself, are the people who say, I like to do what you do and also help the community. So we call them active business partners. in our organization, or, you know, our group, we have a 5-year vision, or we call a mission in numbers. We would love to, within those 5 years, we would love to serve hopefully more than 100 families, right, to help educate them financially, because we believe that when you educate people, inform and empower, they have more options, that they can actually make and educated decisions about anything, and especially finances, which is very important. And we're also hoping to license about 5,000 financial professionals during this time. I think that is it for now. Thank you for your time. So on the slide, you can see my email address, my phone number, how you can reach if you have further questions, further assistance, or you need further assistance. And for now, I will open the floor to questions. Yeah, so please. So before I just wanted to say that Eden Sium is here, who is my partner, my mentor. So she's a lot more educated in this. And so I'm hoping that she can also help with answering some questions. Thank you. All right. Ready for questions?
I think I'd like questions and answers because I wouldn't know what questions to ask. You know.
Absolutely.
I think we will ask more or less general questions, and if somebody has a personal question, they can contact you later and
Absolutely.
and ask those questions. Well, I know what question I want to ask. So what is the name of your organization, of your group, and what do they do, and how did you find them?
Absolutely. So it's called World Financial Group, WFG, which has like I mentioned, works with those 70 A-list providers. And Eden Sium here is the one who invited me to one of their presentations. That's how I got introduced to them, and I started working with them. And of course, a big part of becoming, I guess, becoming a part of this group is actually getting your license, your financial license. And so they help with the whole process. Does that answer your question? Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, if I may add something to what
Sure.
Jamila says. Yeah, the name of our organization is World Financial Group, like what she said. And basically what we do is we help people understand with their options. See, if I may say something about myself, I wasn't aware of many of the things that Jamila was sharing. So I was one of those families who didn't have all the information, just like when Jamila was sharing about her story. We were a family that we didn't have all the financial information. We weren't aware of the financial system of the country. So what we do is we have seminars, we educate people, and we help them make informed decisions to have a better financial future. So that's what we do.
Well, another question that I had was the question about the banks. All other options that were presented, all those 5 different options, they were interesting, but do they do the same what banks do? Can you have your earnings, your salary going to those accounts like we can have with banks? Can you have a savings account where you only accumulate money, or can you have a checking account where you can withdraw money from time to time or any time you want?
Great question. It's a great question. Actually, no, because we what we say, right? What we tell people is, of course, we still need the banks. We still need the banks for transactions, right? To be able to pay for things, purchase, like for our salaries to go, come in and out. So we still kind of need banks for that. But all of those other accounts, especially the last 2 that I shared, more help or come in for you to, for the kind of a long term, to be able to plan for your retirement. for your, financial legacy that you want to leave to your children. So yeah, so they come in kind of for those kind of purposes. Eden, you wanted to add anything?
I think it's great, but if Elena could specify her question, I would be glad to. Yeah.
Well, I think Jamila already answered the question. But as financial professional, you might be able to answer another one. Like, I always hear the word annuities, and I think our 401ks, 403bs, they all invest in annuities. But what is an annuity anyway?
Eden, I need your help here.
Yeah, well, it's
Good
one of the
question.
financial vehicles that she showed us. Remember, she showed us the three commonly used ones, the bank, the 401k, and the stocks. And the two ones that she showed us were the private pension, which is the annuity, and the other one was the IUL. So generally, it's an I think one of you said you have a 401k, right? It's when we the old money that you have in a retirement plan, when we move it to another place, that's the annuity. But again, it's a little bit vast, so we can take some time and we can talk about annuities in a depth with you, Elena, if you don't mind.
Okay. Well, then question about FIA. If it's a fixed index annuity, just a little bit more elaborate on that. Why is it a private pension? Why is it called private pension? Just if you want to invest on your own, that's all?
It's just the name. It's called fixed indexed annuity. It's the same thing. It's just another vehicle, another financial vehicle that you put your money. But I don't think there is anything special about the name it being private. At least I'm not aware of that.
Okay.
Can I don't know, can Kifle, I know Kifle is here as well.
Yeah.
Can Kifle maybe
But
if he, I don't know if he's available to elaborate on that a little bit more.
those other banks, instead of just letting it.
I don't know.
10%. What is it for? Daddy was the one that sent us to see if we wanted this. She sent this.
Kifle, no?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not in the position to
Okay,
talk.
no, that's fine. Thank you.
Yeah.
Understand.
He said he's not in a position to talk.
Sure.
Mm.
But we can, yeah, so it's a good question, like I said, but we can definitely, if you're like interested, Elena, on that, we can definitely meet one-on-one and give you a lot more information on that, on how you can utilize to actually benefit, honestly, a lot more than from 401k or 403b. There's a lot more like protection in there. Like I said, there's a lot more benefits that you get with it. The only thing, like, not everyone qualifies for those last two accounts. It's not, that's another thing. A lot of people like yourself mentioned, like, is it too good to be true? They think like it's available to everyone, but you have to apply and not everyone qualifies for those. There are certain criteria that you have to meet.
Can you elaborate a little bit on those criteria?
For example, for IUL, right? Especially for IUL, you have to be healthy. So they look at health conditions as well. A lot of the time, people who open IUL, they open it for their children, because a lot of time, our children most of the time are healthy, they meet, and so it's a great way actually to help our children to be set for their future. I mean, it doesn't mean you're not able to open it later, but one of those things is being in great health condition.
Oh, that's interesting. And with 401ks, 403bs, usually they are provided through your place of employment, and you cannot close them and move money somewhere else unless you leave your employment. So that's the catch.
Okay. I mean, from what I know, with 401k, you can actually move your money into FIA.
Okay.
And yes, you can. With 401k, you can actually move your money into FIA. And I know right now, or at least recently, Eden, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, they're offering sign-up bonuses, right? Like up to 35% of the amount. But again, I know there's a criteria. You have to have a certain amount of money in your 401k already to even be able to move it to FIA.
Mhm.
Yes, and then because one of, they always have those tax rules.
Mhm.
So you cannot take it until you're certain age, right, for a 1K, but you can move it into a FIA because then that'll become your, for kind of plan for retirement.
Is it the same for 3B and 457 something?
Honestly, I'm not sure about those differences, but we can always definitely look into that.
Mhm.
See I guess just based on your question, another thing that I just could think of, if we compare 401k and FIA, is like in 401k, you have a maximum amount that you can contribute in a year.
Mhm.
There's only certain amount, let's say, I think it's 22,000 a year. However, right, for the average family, for average working person, it's very rare that you can contribute 22,000 out of your salary just to 401k, because then you have no money left to live off, kind of thing. And then of course it's taxed. It's only tax deferred, I think, until your retirement age. And so with that, IUL and FIA has a little bit more freedom to grow your money. And the greatest thing about IUL, for example, you get that income protection or income replacement if, God forbid, terminal illness or sickness happens, chronic or terminal illness happen. So, could everybody hear me? Sorry.
Mhm,
Or
yes,
did I
we can
freeze?
hear you.
Okay.
We heard you.
Because
Mhm.
everybody was just so quiet, and I thought, did I freeze or something?
No, you're good.
Yes.
Do we have any other questions?
Yeah.
Anybody? Mary Cruz?
Mary Cruz. Oh, I said it at the same time. Oh, you muted yourself. Sorry.
Okay, am I okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm listening, very interesting, and I'm learning, just listening to what this